Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the read-along of my fantasy adventure, A Book of Creation, written by me. If you're new here, it took me 20 years to write this book, so I really appreciate it if you gave me some time, some of your time. I would really appreciate it. Last time we were here was chapter 15, The Road to Argaria, and after that I posted some deleted content where you guys got to meet a couple new characters, Giseldra and Dredgeborn, and you saw the birth of the little cub. Moving on. Chapter 16, In the Halls of the Institute. The year is 4022 by the world calendar, and it's been 1 week after Azra's capture. The orange hue of the afternoon vanished as Giseldra blacked out the windows to her office and took a seat across from Jeffrey. Her onyx crown matched her eyes, and both blended in unnaturally well to the blacked out glass behind her. On that note, has there been any information on the whereabouts of Ultra? She asked. I'm accessing the files as we speak, Jeffrey responded. Omni-Eye flashed in one of Frey's eyes while the other, citron in color, shifted around under his upper brow. I can't believe we were able to get the Mark III to function with only half of Spectra. Omni-Eye sifted through the dataset. Finally, with it, we will be able to do what we are supposed to do. Terraform and create without bounds. Aha! The files appeared as his beige spotted crown fluffed. Professor Azra Lemeria. He skimmed the long file. He continues to be uncooperative, it seems. He's been in exile for a week, she snapped. 50 years difference for him. That's exactly my point. She spun around in her chair as she thought out loud. Maybe we should put him deeper into the fold. Give him a couple 100 years to think about things over the next week. He should stay where he is indefinitely, Frey interjected. If we move him now, then he'll know something is up, and we'll get nothing out of him. Not Ultra, not the ore, no information, nothing. We have infra, and you said yourself that the terraformer is operational. What need do we have for Ultra? And with the Mark III, we no longer need access to the ore. We can make the ore. Any information Azra has is useless to us. Are you that nearsighted? Frey shot up from his chair and began to pace. Read the reports. He forwarded a media file to her. Azra Lemeria, assigned to lead the investigation into Quahog Morning. Azra Lemeria, assigned to lead the investigation into Quahog Mining Quarry, suffers a, quote, catastrophic platform failure, end quote. Somehow he wakes up, and shortly after that, he steals the entire deposit of exotic ore right out from under our feet. Literally. Not to mention taking a third of Palace Laboratories with him in the process. Frey looked at Giseldra as he stormed around the office. After that, he manages to return and steal Spectra right out of our pocket. Then, he dies in the process. He stopped and stared right at the woman. Look it up! The footage right there! Gate 17, closed circuit. He waited to see her reaction. When she finally looked up at him with the same flabbergasted expression he first had at seeing the footage, he nodded to her with a raised brow. Then, of all places, he shows back up at Gate 17 with infra and proceeds to tear the complex apart while stealing every bit of information he could find about exile. He finally began to calm down. We were beyond fortunate that the Great apprehended him and recovered the half of Spectra we needed to get the Mark III operational. But that's beside the point. Eldra, ask yourself how in the world is Azra alive and sitting in that cell? She gasped. He can return from eternity. And that is why we need him to talk as much as possible. He leaned in, palms flat on the desk, eye to eye with her. Azra stays where he is indefinitely. And that was the end of the conversation. Okay, I'm cutting it off there because one reason only. I set a challenge for myself to try and make it through a whole chapter without needing to do edits. to be calm enough to read through this whole thing without flipping out in one way or another. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there. We'll get the next chapter going next week, chapter 17. If you guys are confused right now, that's absolutely fine. I wrote it that way. You're probably asking yourself a bunch of questions. That's fine. I wrote it that way. Usually when it comes to books, it's a bunch of setup and then a little bit of payoff. I hope you guys hang in there. We'll see you later.